Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 4 and in this episode we're going to be going through some of the bits, getting the rest of the bits and bobs off the bike, get it completely stripped down so it's just frame on its own, forks on its own, swinging arm on its own and a few other bits and bobs so we can get it sent to the blasters so we can get all the frame blasted, and then once it's been blasted we can get it sent to the painters. So stay tuned. Let's dig in and let's get the rest of this bike stripped. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to strip all the components out of the front handlebars, get all this out, all these gubbins, so we can get this ready for the blasters. So let's dig in and let's get this stripped. Right, okay, now one of these screws are absolutely knackered, so I may have to drill this out and we'll have to get some new screws, but this is the only way of getting this out. I've just got to remove this one here. And they are labelled there, left and right. Little R on it. Okay, that's removed. So now we're going to have to try and drill the screw out of this. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to do that, but it is what it is. So let's get that drilled out. Okay, so lucky enough we did manage to screw the heads off, so that is some that we're going to have to get replaced. So but I do want to try and keep these lenses because obviously they are original Stanley. So now I am going to have to try and remove this screw. Okay, so lucky enough I was managed to get the screw that was absolutely seized in there. As you can see, it's got really rusted in there, so I was managed to get that out, lucky enough. So I will need some new ones of them, unfortunately. And now I'm just going to take these little indicator caps off. Okay, got them off without snapping any of the little prongs, so that's very, very good. Now obviously these need sorting out, they're very, very desperate. So right, let's crack on we'll get all this bagged up so we know what's what, and then we will start cracking on with the bike. Start getting the bits back off the bike. A few bits on there that I need to get off: swinging arm, wheels, suspension, rear shocks, what else is there? A few other little bits. So we'll go over there now and get them bits off. Okay, so next we are going to be removing this bracket here. So 2 bolts here, 1 here, and I don't know if you can see, one there as well. So now I did give the bike a wash, got some Motorverd, which is a bike cleaner, very, very good cleaner that is. So as you can see now, I should be spraying it on now. Just give it a quick wipe down, jet washed it again, and then we got the airline on it, and then we got it back into the workshop, back on the bench. So now let's get these 4 bolts removed, get the bracket off that holds the seat on, and then we shall go from there and then carry on getting the rest off. Okay, with a 12mm, we'll get these off. Now for this one and the other side. We'll put these nuts back on these bolts. Oh, don't get dropping your nuts. We'll get these back on here so we know where they go. Right, that's that removed. So next we will go around the other side now, and we'll get the rear brake assembly off and the rod off the rear wheel, and there's a few other little bits on that side that we need to get off, and then we'll be able to drop a few other little bits. So let's go around the other side and let's drop them other bits off. Okay, next we're going to remove the rear foot peg, which is a 14mm spanner. Okay, that's that removed. Next we are going to crack off this nut, which is to support, by the looks of it, the rear hub. We just need to be careful with this because it's spring loaded. Okay, next is this rear brake arm here. We can get that off now, so let's get that disconnected and do this nut here for the rear drum brake. I've wearing this one out quite a bit at the moment. Okay, that's dropped down now. Now we can disconnect it from the front. Remove that pin and washer. Okay, that's that removed. Remove the washer and then remove the connecting rod. So that's that off. Put that to one side for now. Okay, so that's the rear brake disengaged. I think next what we'll do is we will drop the rear shocks off. They can come off next, and then we'll concentrate on stripping the front down. So I've removed the other side. So I've undone the nuts on this side, and then the rear wheel should just drop. Yeah. Okay, so that's both of them removed. What we'll do is just drop them nuts back on there for now, and then we can take them off after. Just so I haven't got loads of nuts knocking around. Right, so next thing we're going to do is we are going to remove the rear wheel, because then I can get these other bits off. Can't get to the bolts that are bolted underneath the arch of the wheel. So we'll remove this wheel. And then we also need to slacken off the tensioners. Okay, next we've got to remove this nut, otherwise the drum will detach from that. Okay, that's the rear wheel removed. Now we should be able to get this swinging arm off next. So let's get close up to this and have a look. Okay, we'll now remove this swinging arm bolt. That's that removed. And the swinging arm. Put that to one side. Right, next we are going to be removing this here and remove the other side, and can get the reg plate off now. I've got the rear wheel off. There's the helmet clip on the other side that needs removing. What else is that? And I think that's about it. I've got to pull these cables through that are still there, but there's like little tangs here that are bent over that hold the cable up inside the rear mudguard. So we can get to that now. The rear wheel has been removed. So let's crack on and get these other bits off. Right, okay, next we're going to get these off. So they're bolted to the frame with 3 screws and a nut around the other side. So what we'll do is we'll get the JIS screwdriver and we will get a socket on the other side. Now we'll go around the other side and we'll get the other ones off from this side. So I'll turn you around and we'll get them off. Okay, now we're on the other side. Caps removed. We had a bit of an issue and we snapped some bolts. Nothing I could do about it. Don't forget, this is a 1972 motorcycle. Most things so far have come off pretty decent, which I'm happy about. I knew there'd be 1 or 2 issues with it. Actually, to be quite honest, I thought there was going to be some more. But they're off, so that's a good thing now. So that's all the back end stripped down. The helmet brackets off. Just need to get these stickers off. I would like to keep these, but I ain't going to be able to reuse these. So we need to get rid of them. And next, now we are going to the front end, remove the front wheel and start stripping the front end suspension forks. Okay, next we're going to get this nut off, and this one I have already slackened it off. Okay, that's that off. Next, we'll drop the front wheel. Okay, so first we'll undo this pinch bolt. Okay, that's that out. Remove the front wheel and then the whole thing will drop down like that. Okay, now we'll start stripping the front end off. Okay, so now I have removed the locking nut and the 2 bolts that go in there. So this will be removed now. Okay, keep them together. Put them aside. So this can now be removed. I'll put that to one side. And the rubber as well. So now we can remove these 2 bolts here. So now we need to remove this nut here. Take all the ball bearings out. We'll keep them separate into a little bag or something. So if we do order new ones, we know we're getting the right ones. So we'll pull these ones out that are in here. And the ones in the top here. Okay, so everything's all stripped now. All the frame is completely stripped. So there we go, everything's off it now. So this is now ready to go and be blasted. Just got to do a little bit of stripping on the front end, nothing major. Right, okay, next what we're going to do is separate the shocks from the forks. So we've got Looks like we have, yeah, 14mm there and a 14mm inside there, and then we've got two 12mm here and here, and then these two here, as you can see, have got nipples on the end, which are the grease nipples for the shocks. So let's get these removed, let's get the shocks dropped out from the forks, and then we can have a little examine, see what they're like, and yeah, and go from there. So let's dig in and let's get these out. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is, I'm not sure if you can see, just in here there is two little clips. Next we need a 14mm spanner. Right, okay, so we've had a little bit of an issue with this one here. Also, I've had to modify and just cut the other end off a 14mm spanner because of getting in there and this bar being in the way. I couldn't get any turn. This one here, if you can see, this nut here was actually seized on, so we had to get a bit of heat, bit of oil, and just leave it for a bit, heat it back up, and it's actually come loose now. So happy days, I'm glad that's happened. So we will continue just to undo this one. And there's that one off. Right, okay, next we'll just undo these two here. These are slack anyway, and these, I'll show you these. So I'll just get a bit of tissue. If you can see these, they have a little hole here, and what they do is they actually grease up inside there. So you get your grease gun, stick it on the end of the nipple, and grease will come out there and lubricate the suspension. So they don't look in too bad condition either. So we'll put the nuts back on that one, put that to the side. Next one. Okay, next is these two bolts here, and then basically these forks should pull out from the frame. 12mm one end, 14 the other. This suspension should now drop out. That's it. And I think with a bit of a clean, these should come up pretty well. Also, there's another nipple here you can't see, but that's to oil all this up here. I told you there was spiders living in this bike. And his mates down here, but he don't look very well. Right, I mean, if you look down there is a lot of grease. I mean, so these are going to need some serious cleaning. Okay, what we'll do is there's a few other bits that I need to strip down. Need to do the swinging arm next. There's just a few bushes and stuff in there. Right, okay, next I'm just going to grab this swinging arm and show you what I need to do with that. So we need to take this bracket off here, which attaches to the rear drum, and then also we need to get the bushings out of the rear swinging arm. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that now. But first things first, we'll take this split pin out of here, which is, and then 12mm. Then we'll take this off, and then we'll take the rear bushes off, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Right, okay, first we'll pull the split pin out. So that's that out. Then 12mm. Just bear in mind there's a spring on here as well, so it shouldn't really fling anywhere, but just be cautious. Okay, so that's that off. Nut and washer and the spring. I will put that somewhere safe. Right, okay, so that's that bush out of there. So now what we need to do is we need to get a bit of heat on this one, and then reverse the process and get this one out. So what we'll do now, get it back in the vise, and we'll get a bit of heat on it and see if we can push this one out. This one was quite hard to get out. It was pretty seized in there, but we managed to get it out without using a press. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So let's get onto this then, and let's get this one done. So we have a little bit of a technical issue. So as you can see here, I will show you now. I was basically explaining how I got the decals off the tank, both sides, and off the front of this as well. So I'll do a brief description of what I was doing. It's pretty simple how I was getting them off. Basically what I did is I had the heat gun on. I basically was heating them up, kept the gun moving at all times, didn't keep it in one area. It doesn't really matter too much because this is being stripped anyway, but I didn't want to ruin the decals, so I basically just kept this moving. And then what I did is I just created basically a simple wire on the end of two spanners like this. And then what I did is heated it up, and then I pulled them through the back, and obviously that removed them without damaging them, so that's a good thing. So obviously they have now been removed, but there is still a bit of glue on the back. Somehow I'm going to have to get them off. Maybe I could use some kind of acetone or something like that. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get that off yet, but we will come to that in a future video. So yeah, so sorry about the technical issue. My mic wasn't actually switched on, so yeah, it's just a learning curve. I will always check now to make sure the mic's on. Just a few more things before I get off. There is a few things going to the powder coaters. So one being the footrests from the front. They're going. The centre stand is also going. Battery box is also going. And the last thing is what holds the reg plate on the rear. So yeah, these are being sent off this week to be blasted and to be powder coated. Now, I have changed a few things what I am going to do. Now, I did say the frame was going to go to the blasters. That isn't the case now, simply because the person who I was going to get to blast the frame can't actually get it into his blaster. So I am going to be stripping it down with some special paint stripper. I will make a video on that. But also as well, I do really want to be careful with the frame, because obviously depending on what shot or beads he's using, it can destroy the welds, obviously, because of it being a 1972 bike. I don't really want to be destroying it, so I will be stripping it down. But there will be other things that will be going to the blasters, so i.e. the swinging arm, the tank can go, the front forks can go, what else can go? There's a few other bits as well that can go, but that can actually get into his machine, so that's not a problem. So, but what I will be doing definitely is I will be doing a video on me stripping the frame. I may have to strip a few things yet, I don't know. I do want to try and keep costs down as much as I can. If I can, then that's happy days. If I can't, then I can't. I understand restoring a motorbike isn't a cheap thing to do. So, but if I can keep that cost down, that'll help me along the way as well. So that's that for this episode. This was episode 4. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that is supporting my channel by subscribing. So if you haven't subscribed and you're still watching my videos, please, please, please subscribe to my channel and give me a like. If you want to share away, that's fine by me. I'm happy with that. Like I say, the more people that view this video and the more people that subscribe to the channel is also good for me, because that drives me even more to continue recording for the rest of this build and also for my next project, which I will be announcing soon as this is finished. I have got my eye on something what I want to do, so please stay tuned because you don't want to miss it. So please give me a like, give me a subscribe, and if anybody wants to say anything, I'm more than happy to read your comments and get back to you as well. I myself would like to interact with you guys who are watching the video. Big thank you to everyone for the support. See you in the next one.